Well, hello, hello, hello. Much love to you all. May God bless you all. Smash that like button. Share this out. At the end of this, I'll share the link that'll pop up that'll go to all the Hebrew words, some that might really surprise you that we go through. But we're going to talk about the word transgress. And the reason why is the Hebrew language uses concrete images not only for sin, like idolatry, but also for general expressions about sin. But also, the word transgress can also be related to passing through something. For instance, Genesis 31, verse 21. So he fled with all that he had, and he rose up and passed over the river and set his face toward the Mount Gilead. All right. So if you look at this right here, this word right here, passed over,
Strong's H 5674. Aver. Aver.
aver, silent with this here. The language is so much different. But you see right here, not only does it say pass over or to pass by or to pass through, it can also mean transgress. And it's used some 562 times throughout the Old Testament. And it's going to be really interesting. Stick through this because you're going to hear some things that are really going to remind you of what the word is saying to us here. So let's now go to Isaiah 43. Isaiah 43, verse 2. When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burnt, neither shalt the flame kindle upon thee. Of course, we see adver here is being talked about passing through the waters. And we can also see, like in Jeremiah 8:20, we'll go to that one real quick. Jeremiah 8, verse 20, where it actually talks about the harvest is past, the summer is ended, and we are not saved. Of course, we get the word here that can mean transgress as well. The harvest is past. So, in all of these cases that we just talked about here, um, we see that passing on or passing through, the subjects don't set down roots. Um, they just move on their way to something else. Sometimes the verb is translated as transgress, which we'll talk about. Um, but the translation sometimes works, but the emphasis with the verses above don't sim- simply do that. They talk about crossing a boundary or passing through or moving through something very quickly. On several occasions throughout the Old Testament, the image is used about speaking about disobeying God and his instructions. Simply, they passed through the word that was being spoken. You'll see right here, Numbers 14. We're going to read verse 40 and 41. 41 is going to have the word here, transgress, but let's get the context here. Verse 40, and they rose up early in the morning and gat them up into the top of the mountain, saying, Lo, we be here, and will go up unto the place which the Lord hath promised, for we have sinned. And Moses said, Wherefore now do ye transgress the commandment of the Lord? But it shall not prosper. So, in a sense, here, knowing the Hebrew word, in a sense, here, he's saying, why are you trying to pass through the commandment of the Lord, which is also to transgress? Why are you trying to pass through it? You're disobeying God. You won't succeed in what you do. So, it's given us an image here of what's actually being said. Why are you passing through the Lord's command? Why are you transgressing the Lord's command? Repeatedly, the Old Testament talks about people passing through their covenant with God as if it wasn't binding or in the fact that they not even hearing. Let's look in Second Kings when northern Israel, for instance, Second Kings 18, when northern Israel disobeyed. Let's look in verse 11 and 12. It says, And the king of Assyria did carry away Israel unto Assyria and put them in Halah and in harbor by the river Gazan and in the cities of the Medes, because they obeyed not the voice of the Lord their God, but transgressed his covenant and all that Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded, and would not hear them nor do them. Okay, two in particular things. We're going to look at here obey.
Strong's H 8085. Shamah. Shamah. And second entry, Shemaiah. Shemaiah.
So they did not hearken, they did not obey, they did not publish, they did not understand, they were not obedient, they did not want to hear, listen to, or obey the voice of the Lord their God, but transgress, but pass through his covenant. It's really sad. It's really sad because we hear the word here, and we've done a study on that. That's why I said all these will pop up. We've talked about the word here, Shema or Shemaiah. Um, they didn't want to hear. You know, it's really sad because how is that any different with today's world? They hear the word of the Lord, but they pass right through it. They go over to the other side. It goes in one ear and out the other. People are not hearing the word. They're passing through it. They're not obeying what God has commanded us to do. We can't be grace abusers, as Romans 6 says. We can't abuse the grace just because we are saved. Look at Isaiah 24, verse 5. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the law, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. They have passed through the law. They have passed through the Torah. They've changed it into what they want it to be. It's really interesting to think about the metaphor that is being here about people actually know God's instructions, but they simply refuse to do what God expects, and they keep moving on as if they never heard the word of the Lord. Look, this is a word we did in a previous study
Strong's
too.
H, 1892. Hevel. Hevel.
We did this in one of the first studies we did, which can mean vanity. So we can look at these two words, vanity and transgress or pass through, and how it can put a powerful influence on how we think about obedience to God. So let's take our obedience to God serious today. May God bless you all. I hope you got something out of this. Smash the like button on the way out. Popping up on the screen will be all the Hebrew words we have done. We're getting through a lot of them. Then there's also a wordplay list where we go over Hebrew and Greek. And then I have a in particular list that I'm just starting. Haven't done a whole lot that are Greek words in particular. I'll have all three of these playlists pop up. Take some time, take notes, play them in increments. If you haven't watched them, or if you have watched them, just to do a deep dive and a study. It's all trying to teach you guys on how to study the Bible. So much love, and may God bless you.